What's going on, y'all? My name's Cole, aka Trans Spirit Indigo. I am a soul having a transgender human experience, a grown indigo kid. How's everybody doing? Thank you for coming back to my channel. Thank you for visiting if it's your first time. So here on this channel, I like to share my experiences of growing up transgender. I'll be 35 in a couple weeks. I've identified as a male gender since the age of 5, and I have been out and open as a transgender person to society since the age of 20. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Anyway, today's topic is going to be more on the metaphysical side. When I'm not talking about being transgender, I like to share one of my favorite things to talk about in life is all things spiritual. Spiritual awakening, connection with the angel realm, all of this. Yes, I do believe in angels, and I personally call my higher source God. Whatever you take it as, whatever you call it, it's a personal preference. But today we're going to talk about dark night of the soul. I did a video a few days ago, kind of like an intro to this. The dark night of the soul is something that it's going to be more familiar for the people that are into the whole metaphysical, spiritual side of life. A dark night of the soul, from what I have read and understand, while you're going through a spiritual awakening, it's going to happen eventually. Now, for me personally, that's all I can go off of is my experiences, right? You know, I've said this before, and I slowly started to wake up in 2000, like 10, 11, 12. It was a very slow trickle. I started to recognize the chemicals in the food, and I wasn't treating my body right. So it kind of started with eating better, exercising, started to wake up more from there. And by 2015, I was in a very terrible car accident, very blessed to be alive. But after that accident, my third eye, it was like, it was on. It was just like, holy cow. Like, it took a few years to download information and to understand more. And Dolores Cannon, if you're familiar with her, she has said that the information almost has to be spoon-fed to us as human beings. Because if we were to completely tap into our higher consciousness and know everything at once, I mean, our human brains couldn't even handle it. And I can attest to this because after the car accident, it was a very slow moving process. And as time went by, about a year later, it started happening at a more rapid, fast rate. Just understanding things more, like the law of attraction, manifesting, the power of meditation, the power of the third eye. Prior to this accident, I didn't even know what a third eye was. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't understand that there's an actual gland inside my brain that does all these things. So that's kind of what I mean by awakening. It's like I was awakening to my own inner power, inner strength. I mean, we all have it. It's our own. It's within us. You know, it's our own knowledge, so to say, that we don't usually remember when we incarnate onto this planet. So if you're on that vibe, if you're feeling me there, keep watching. I want to talk a little bit about the dark night of the soul. So and how maybe it help you, some things to help you get through it. I'd experienced some dark times, so to say, since waking up, but it wasn't until about 2 months ago that I'm certain that I experienced a dark night of the soul, and I'm just now coming out of it. And I still feel like I'm kind of in it a little bit, but for the most part, I'm coming out of it. The dark night of the soul, in a nutshell, is pretty much a time period that a person, especially during a spiritual awakening or a kundalini awakening, the dark night of the soul is a time period where a lot of stuff that we've buried deep within us is going to come to the surface. It's going to be a time where, like, I mean, the ego's really flaring. You know, it's a lot of your own demons and your own things that have been holding you back, perhaps from vibrating at a higher frequency, your energy. So in a way, it's kind of a blessing because it brings this stuff to the surface so you can observe it, work through it, and let it go. And that can be done through deep breathing, through meditation. When it comes to letting go, it's, for me personally, it's just asking my higher power and my guardian angels, my guides, please help me to let go of this. I say it out loud or in my head. I ask them to help me to let go of it. Because for me, if I don't ask, I just kind of keep regurgitating the same thoughts over and over again, and I stew in them. And that's not healthy. You know, it's like, yes, this stuff comes to the surface, but it's an opportunity for us to let it go. And that's where that meditation, the prayers, and talking with my guides and my angels come in. And it's been a huge help for me. I've noticed that a lot of the extra baggage and guilt or shame that I feel or have felt, I've been able to let it go with the strength and the assistance of my spirit guides, my guardian angels, my higher power, so to say. So let's see, what else? So I just want to explain the dark night of the soul. It's a period of time. It could be a few days. It could be a few months. It could be 1 month, a couple weeks. It all depends. But when this time period happens, it can be a lot of depression, deep, serious depression, because all of this crap that you have been pushing and resisting down into your gut is coming to the surface. So it's like, for me, when it was triggered when my grandma passed away and I went back east where I grew up, and a lot of past traumas resurfaced to me. I went through a lot of trauma as a transgender person, and being in the closet as a kid, there's a lot of shame and guilt built up in that. And I didn't realize how much I was still bearing down. I thought I was over it. I wasn't. So this stuff came back up, and then I'm also noticing bad habits. When my grandma passed away, all of a sudden I wanted to eat my pain away, because I've had issues with food, but I haven't had them in a long time. Do you see what I'm saying? This was like the like trying to self-medicate with food, so to say. You know, some people starve themselves. Me, for the most part, I would overeat. You know, and so when she passed away, all of a sudden I wanted to eat all the sugar. I was craving sugar. I haven't craved sugar in almost 2 years because I've taken a lot of the processed sugar, most of it out of my diet, to where it's just more natural sugars. So I was noticing all this stuff from my past, like these cravings and behaviors, like bad habits coming to the surface. That can be a part of the dark night of the soul. And you know what? It is scary. But the good news is it's there to assist you. It's not there to be against you. It's there for you. It's because you've gotten to a certain point in your awakening where your vibration, your energy, your energetic frequency is no longer matching these past parts of you, these bad habits that used to exist. So they're brought to the surface again for you to let them go, to work through them. So that's the scary part, is facing them head on. And that was scary for me. I was remembering things that I hated about myself that I had buried deep down. And there's really no reason to hate myself. There's things I hated about me, but that's another thing I realized, is I was putting so much hatred and guilt and shame on this stuff. I had to forgive myself because I'm human. I had to forgive myself for eating too much sugar, or forgive myself for my decade of liquor binging, of self-medicating. It's a lot about forgiveness, forgiving yourself. And although it's a dark time, it's a perfect time to call more so on the archangels, your guides, for help, because they're there to help you. The archangels have been a huge thing for me with, well, they're not a thing, but you know what I mean? It's been a huge part of my life, in better words. I call upon Archangel Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, Uriel. Thanks again to Soulmanity and to MC Desperado for helping me realize that the archangels are there for all of us. I'd kind of forgotten about that. And since I've been praying and asking more for their guidance, I've been receiving, I can feel energetically, a massive amount of support that I wasn't getting before when I wasn't asking for it. That's another thing that I want to throw out there for anyone who, who's on that page when it comes to talking to guides and angels, asking them for help it's everything. If we don't ask them for help, they can't help us. They can intervene when it's a life or death situation. However, because we have free will on this planet, and this is information coming from Dolores Cannon, because we have free will on planet Earth, they can't come to our assistance, like say when I'm having a dark night of the soul, when I'm remembering all these terrible things I did when I was drunk and I'm feeling down and depressed and I'm beating myself up. Unfortunately, they can't just come and make me feel better. That's my personal belief, and that's a lot that I've learned through Dolores Cannon and that's because we have free will. But if you ask them for help, like if you make the conscious decision to ask for help, they will help you. Earth is said to be the most difficult school that you can incarnate to into this universe, and I believe that. Being here, we're working through karma. We're working here, some of us, to spread light onto the darkness in this planet. There's a lot of corruption on this planet. This planet has been taken advantage of with the resources, the way we take advantage of this planet. And so some of us are here to spread light and love. And Earth is a school where we learn to manipulate energy. So instead of manipulating people, let's manipulate energy and make it work in our favor. Because I have these big dreams of being a singer-songwriter, and Jason Mraz inspires me, as he became a huge singer-songwriter, and then he was able to purchase his avocado farm, and he's able to give and help the communities through that. To me, that's like a big dream of mine, to be able to do what I love to do and do my music and write, but also be able to help the community. That's spreading the light and love. And that is a lot of what has come to me through this dark night of the soul, is I'm shedding all these old past behaviors that were no longer serving me, and then replacing them with new ones, with healthier ones. I love to work out. I love to meditate. I actually love to eat healthy. And these things help me to raise my energetic frequency. Being alive, things are not always going to be perfect. It's not like you're going to raise your energy and life's just going to be like rainbows and butterflies all the time. We are always learning. And I don't mean that to scare anyone. I'm just being honest with what I've learned. And the thing is, although there's dark times, there's times of light. We couldn't appreciate the light times without the darkness. We are always given the opportunity to learn lessons. And that's part of the beauty. This dark night of the soul. So I've explained what it is. I told you I just have been coming out of one myself after my grandmother's passing. And when you're in the depths of it, when you're in the worst of your depression with it, the best thing that I found to do is to embrace it. Just let it happen, and you just ask for help to get through the pain. Because when you embrace it and you don't resist it, and I embraced the shame, I embraced the guilt, I embraced the anger, and once I embraced it and started asking for help to release it, it took a long time. It took a while. That was probably almost 2 months. But it was worth it, because in that time, I've let a lot of crap go. And once it's gone, you guys, it's gone. Once I'm letting stuff go from when I was 14 and I really let it go, it's not going to come back. It's gone. I put it to rest. I made peace with it. So That's something to look forward to. It's not all bad. The dark night of the soul is actually it's to help us. It's working for us instead of against us. It's best, I have found, to always remember that things in life happen for us, not to us. Even if you get stuck in traffic and you think, oh, this is happening to me, maybe it's happening for you. Maybe being stuck in traffic is keeping you from an accident happening that could have happened if you did keep moving. We never know. We got to trust in the universe. We got to trust that our guides are watching out for us. Like I said before, they can't just intervene with stuff like, when we're stuck on a decision of should I take this job or not take this job. That's when we really got to ask them. But if it's a life or death situation, they'll keep us from certain things. They'll protect us. Maybe they made that traffic happen to keep you from being in that accident. You just never know. So it's all about trust. The dark night of the soul. I would go through it again. It was hell. It was hell on earth. But I would go through it again knowing I'd get to this point where I feel that I've grown so much and that I've let so much go that was no longer serving me. You start to feel so much better. One day you'll wake up from it and you'll just start to notice, I don't feel so depressed anymore. I don't feel so held down. You will come out of it, I promise you. And you can look forward to that. There were days where I was ready to come out of it, many a days. And but I didn't. I thought I was ready, but my soul wasn't ready. I remember a few days where I just really wanted it to end. Just, God, please help me to. But I hadn't faced my stuff yet. It's like I just wanted to get past it and not work on anything. So what helped me in the midst of that, when I wasn't ready to face my stuff and I was in the middle of it, I started watching videos on YouTube about other people talking about their experiences. I mentioned it in the intro to the Dark Night of the Soul video I made, that Victor Oddo, O-D-D-O, Victor Oddo. I love the way he explained the Dark Night of the Soul. You want to check out his video. All his videos are awesome. This particular one he made really helped me in that time period about a month ago when I was in smack dab in the middle of the dark night, and it was I just was like I couldn't. There were days I couldn't get out of bed. It was terrible. It was terrible, but when I knew that that's what I was experiencing, it shone some light into my reality. I knew it wasn't permanent. And it made sense too, because I just experienced one of the most traumatic things I've ever experienced in my life was losing my grandmother. I was very close with her. Very close. So it was like losing my mother in a way. She was like a mom to me. That kind of trauma can trigger all sorts of stuff. But a dark night of the soul doesn't necessarily even have to be triggered. It can just, you get to a certain point in your spiritual awakening. Once again, as I was saying before, your energy is vibing higher than it used to. And it wants to keep going. You want to keep expanding your awareness, your consciousness, and keep learning. And if you have all this baggage keeping you down and blocking this higher energy from aligning with you, that's why your soul is going to be like, time to deal with it. So it can be very scary, but it is for the best. It is for the best. I think this is a reason why some people are very leery on opening their third eye and very leery on the spiritual awakening process, because this is a part of it. Spiritual awakening is not just like, oh, I woke up to everything in this world and I know everything and everything is beautiful. That's not a spiritual awakening. It's a spiritual awakening is becoming more conscious and aware of energy, of the universe, of the world around us, of our own inner power and strength. We are such powerful beings. We can do anything we want in this life. We can become anyone we want to be. You put in the time, the effort, the intention, the desire, you can do anything. So that's the beautiful part about waking up, is you wake up, so to say, to this. But to every light, there's dark, there's duality. And it's all perspective too. What's dark to somebody might be light to somebody else. It's all perspective. But, here I am, sitting here talking to you, thank God, after a little over 2 months, about 2.5 months of Dark Night of the Soul. And I do feel like a different person. I feel stronger. I feel more at peace. And if I had to go through it again to get to this point, although that sounds terrible, I would do it again if I had to, because I don't want to carry around baggage from my past for the rest of my life. I'm 35 years young. That might sound weird to somebody who's 14 or 15 watching this, but I'm 35 years young, and there's a lot more life to live, and I would like to live the rest of my years on this planet, in this avatar, in this life, with a higher vibration that's not carrying around baggage from my past. Because not only is that going to be better for me, it's going to be better for the people around me that I love, the people that I care about. I love talking about this and sharing it, and the more I learn and the more that I can expand my consciousness, the better I can be for others who are tuning in. So, I don't know. That's pretty much what I have to say about that. The best things that you can do during Dark Night of the Soul is pretty much like any other day, with eating high vibrational foods, eating real foods, plants. And if you're going to eat meat and you're looking to raise your frequency, lots of lighter meats, like chicken, grilled chicken, and maybe some fish. Just laying off the heavy red meats will make you feel better. Lots of fruits and vegetables and nuts and all those kinds of things. What else? Let's see. Well, just loving yourself. Don't forget to have that quiet time to meditate. It's a major time to really stay in tune with your higher protection, your angels, your guardians, your higher power, whatever you feel that is. That's going to help you get through the dark night of the soul. And trust me, you'll get through it. Things will look a lot better. I promise you. You can get through it. And you can DM me. You can leave a comment below if you want to talk about it. Because we're all in this together. We all are one. We're all made of stardust. We're all the collective consciousness experiencing life on this planet. And we're here for one another. So I want to send my love and light to everyone. If you have any more questions on the dark night of the soul and what to expect, now this could come at any time too. It could, for me, it came almost like 3 years after I started quickly waking up. So it took a while. It's not like I started to spiritually awaken and then it just happened. No, it took a long time. And even though it's a scary thing, I had heard about it before it happened to me, and I'm glad I did, because knowing about it allowed me to step outside of myself for a minute and say, oh wow, I think I'm experiencing what is a dark night of the soul, what that is, because all the signs and symptoms sound like what I've learned about. And when I went back to look it up again, I knew that that's what was going on. So that helped me because I knew what was actually happening. It's kind of like when I didn't know what transgender meant, it was more difficult because I felt all alone, that I was the only one feeling like I was the opposite of what I was. I'm a boy in a girl's body. I thought I was insane because I didn't know anyone else had ever experienced that before. I grew up without internet. I grew up with just like a couple encyclopedias in my house in the 80s and 90s, and we didn't have the internet, so that's the only information I had. That's you know what I mean? So when I found out that transgender was a real thing, I felt so much more relief, even though it was really rough, of course, even still knowing. I felt a lot more relief knowing I wasn't alone. And I think that too is why I felt like I needed to share, and other people felt they needed to share about the dark night of the soul. Because if you're experiencing a spiritual awakening, eventually you'll get to that point. But at least you'll know it. You'll know, okay, oh my God, I'm in a dark night of the soul. Oh, this sucks. But it's happening for the greater good, and I'm going to be better when I get through this. So, much love. Please, if you like this video, hit the like button, subscribe, hit the bell notification for more. I'd love to hear from you. Sub for sub, right? Much love. Sub for sub, much love. And I'm just really excited to be meeting all you guys and gals and everybody in between. Have a great day.